Welcome to New Frontier Cast. Today we'll be talking about a couple of random things, mainly surrounding the weapons update and the new point system in 1.8.6. Now I'm going to switch some things around. I said on the first podcast I was going to do current events like in the last half of me talking. I'm just going to do them quickly at the beginning now because they seem to be pretty small, mostly when I'm making this every Monday and Friday. So the current events right now is after seeing that we seem to be growing decently well right now without me having to put too much effort into it. So I'm just going to kind of go with the flow, and 60% of my time I'll be devoting to still growing the channel, while 40% of the time I'll go back to some development in the background. This includes finishing up the server. Not all the ranks are finished, and because of this I've put people in the wrong rank, just so then they have the right commands, but I'm going to clean that up. I've also neglected the wiki a little bit, as I got pretty much all the necessary stuff done, but not all the background stuff done, so I'll be trying to make a new wiki page every day just to try to finish that up. And I'll actually be starting developing 1.8.6 a little bit in the background too, which Onyx has already gotten on that. And in terms of growth, I'm trying to get some YouTubers to do a new Frontiercraft video. So far I've not had success. If you guys know anyone, or yourself, if you could make a YouTube video on New Frontiercraft, that'd be helpful. I'm going to YouTube comments in big old Minecraft videos like This is Minecraft, obviously. Old videos like the Yokes Cast series, some other random stuff about Minecraft nostalgia. I go in those comments and try to recruit a few people. I'm also doing Reddit posts, but what else should I try spreading in? I also have gotten a post in Planet Minecraft and the Minecraft forums, but that's all I'm going to do there, because I don't think the community for New Frontiercraft kind of resides in that area. So if you got any ideas on how else to spread the word of New Frontiercraft, please tell me in the comments below. So a little bit about 1.8.6. Onyx is working away, and that's our second developer, if you've not heard of him. In fact, he's with me here today for the podcast. Our point system he's working on is interesting. I was expecting it to be kind of a background thing, but it's actually kind of fun. And we'll be talking about that today when he first comes on. But the thing I'll be talking about for a little while is the weapons update. At the moment, what I'm planning to do with swords is give them 2 extra or possibly 3 extra statistics. One of them will be the reach of a sword, and another one, which might be split into 2 things, is the swing speed of the sword. So how I might split it into 2 is if there's an initial swing speed and then an after swing speed, where you can't like switch your item or anything after you've swung. I'm not too sure if I'll do either of those, or both of those. But I definitely want to have more stats on a sword that you can also modify through... I'll add an anvil, where it won't just be used to modify the stats on a sword and how it works, but it'll also be used to repair tools. Where you basically, I guess you put coal into it, fire it up, and put in an ingot to repair... So like an iron ingot to repair an iron sword to its full health. No matter what health it's at, is what the current plan is. For bows, I will be adding 2 more bows. I might even add a 4th or 5th, depending on if I decide, oh, that's actually a good idea for a bow. I'll add that in the future. Currently, it's going to be split up into the normal bow, which I do want to backport the modern bow. I know a lot of you... not a lot of you, but I know a few of you like the machine gun bow, but it's generally that people want the modern bow because it's just superior. It feels so much more like a bow. You can be so much more accurate with it. It does more damage. It just feels nicer. So I'm going to backport the bow for that, but I'm going to make the bow fire a little bit quicker for the normal bow. Then there will be the longbow, which takes a very long time to pull back, but it'll shoot very far. And there will be the crossbow, which you'll have to load it for like a solid, 10 to 15 seconds. And then once it's loaded, you can basically fire it instantly, and it does a ton of damage. So the crossbow won't be something used like immediately. Well, it could be used immediately in combat, but it won't take you the rest of the way. The normal bow would take you the rest of the combat, because sitting around trying to load a crossbow for 15 seconds is not going to be good when you're doing hand-to-hand combat. There'll be two types of arrows. One will be arrows just in your inventory, and the other will be quivered arrows. I'm going to use that texture that Notch never used, the quiver. And what you'll do is you'll craft arrows with some leather to get this backpack of arrows that you can put a whole bunch of arrows into. And when it's on your back, it'll basically tell the bow, oh, we're going to use quivered arrows now. Quivered arrows will be quicker to load but not do as much damage. So if you want a long bow where you want it to shoot really far but you don't want to take the time to load a normal arrow, you could do a quivered arrow instead. And because it's going to be loaded on your back, that also provides the disadvantage of you're not going to be able to put armor on your chest plate. I also have to think about how sprinting, because I do want to add in sprinting with a stamina bar, and I'm actually really excited. I have all kinds of ideas I could do with this, and I think it's going to be balanced. Like, I've had the idea that when you go to bed, it'll recover the stamina bar. If you're in the desert, it'll like half your stamina bar because it's going to be humid and hot, and you won't have as much stamina in the desert. Random things like that. I'm actually really interested to see how a stamina bar would fit into sprinting and just moving alone. And how mobs will fit into that too, because I don't want you just to be able to quickly run away from any mob that comes by. But that's going to be hard to tell how that will affect it right now. Another thing with armor, I do want to add in the weight, and this will affect your sprinting and stamina, is the weight of the armor you're wearing. So like certain things like osmium, that's going to be very heavy armor, but it's going to protect you like nothing. You're just going to be a tank in osmium armor. Whereas diamond armor is going to be very light, and it still protects you well, but just not as well as osmium. And osmium will actually last longer too than diamond armor. That's just an example, and that's the highest tier. I'll do all kinds of balancing with weight and durability and how much it protects you. That'll change in the weapons update also. Before I introduce our guest today, Onyx, what you're hearing right now is something that I have recorded after we were done recording. I just wanted to say a couple things briefly. Onyx is the other developer in New Frontier Craft, and this was a recent development. As many of you know who have stuck around for a little while, I've been the only developer of New Frontier Craft for a very long time. Now, Onyx is young. He's just going into high school, and he didn't experience the old times back in the day, but he came back to the old versions curious for what they would offer. I really respect this kid. Despite not being there for the old times, he's quickly understood the goals of New Frontier Craft and picked up on not just the lingo that we use in New Frontier Craft, but like the style of it, and has come up with his own ideas that fit within the framework of what we're trying to do with New Frontier Craft, like his point system. He's also helped me learn how to set up my installer and use things like Git. Today he had to record in a low-quality microphone, so I'll be throwing text on the screen of paraphrasing what he was saying if you weren't able to hear it very well. Unless it's in brackets, then I'm just guessing too. So that's as far as I've got planned for the weapons update, and now we'll go to our guest Onyx, who is with me here today, our secondary developer for New Frontier Craft. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing all right today. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. I was painting earlier today, so I'm kind of tired. My legs are a bit sore, but feels good. Good to work. So, anything about the point system that you're adding into New Frontier Craft right now that is probably not known publicly because we've mostly been working on that in the background?
Well, at the moment, it's mostly aesthetic, but I want to give it some sort of practical use, not like XP and modern, but something like it doesn't take away from your score when you use it to do something. It's very limited in what you can do with the higher score. It will possibly give you some higher stats if it's really high, but it's not supposed to be super like.
Yeah, we could have it.
XP.
We could have it like affect your stats a little bit, where if you have such a high score, it actually, we could have it so that just like 1,000 points will just slowly increment like how well you attack or something. That'd actually be kind of interesting. Like it could make your
Or
swing speed a little bit faster, just a little bit. But if you get to like 1,000,000 points, like your swing speed will actually be pretty decent even for heavy swords. That's just an idea.
Alright. I think it's pretty good. But upon death, you would lose it all, so that's an incentive not to die.
Ooh, yeah, that's really true. It's not like XP where if you die, you know, you could get at least half of it back.
That's it.
So, what do we... Let's just talk about where you could get points. Like, I know we talked about having blocks giving you... Like, just normal blocks will give you 1 point at a time. And then maybe special blocks could give you an extra amount of points. Then there's mobs. Killing mobs will give you points. Killing a player, you said... what was your exact decision on what you get from a player?
If the player's score is 0, it gives you, like, let me think, 100, no, like, maybe like 200 points, I think. And
Okay.
if the player's score is greater than 0, it gives you half of their score.
Maybe we should do it greater than 400, so you always get 200 as a base score from killing a player, but once it starts getting higher, you get half of the points they have.
That's actually a pretty good idea. Now, about scores coming from blocks, I feel like mining, digging dirt shouldn't really give score, but maybe something like mining stone, it'll give you like 1 point. Chopping wood maybe give you 1 point. Like soil stuff, easy to dig soil probably shouldn't really give you any points.
We could also make it where, like, points have very low value and still they really start adding up. Because I really do like the idea, if you, like, mine out a huge area, even if it's dirt, it gives you some points. So maybe, like, we should actually multiply, like, killing a player would be more like 1,000, killing a mob would be more like 100, and then just, like, 1 dirt block would be, like, 1 point. And then 1 stone block would be, like, 2 points.
Seems reasonable. But should you get score from breaking ore? Because breaking ore itself is already a reward.
Yeah, I think breaking ores would still give you points. Maybe collecting the ingot afterwards wouldn't. It just, when you break the block, it automatically counts as, oh, you found copper, here you go, here's some points. But we could also make it so that when you fire stuff up, it'll give you points, but I don't know. What about other stuff?
What's your ideas for the weapons update? Were you influenced by Modern 1.9?
I know very little about Modern 1.9. Is that the update where they change it, where you can have like a shield and like something in one hand and something in the other?
Yeah, but they also added a cooldown for swinging your sword as well as swing speed.
That's true. I kinda thought that was okay. I haven't played Modern 1.9 enough to know how much that affected the game. I was actually more influenced by a mod back in older Technic that added a whole bunch of different types of weapons. They were all, because there wasn't, it wasn't made for a bunch of different metals, it was all a bunch of different types of swords, in a sense. So you'd have like a mace, you'd have some sort of thing, I think it was called a halberd or halberd, that would reach really far. A bunch of different tools for different types of battles. That's what I was inspired more by. That didn't have the swing speed, though. That was kind of influenced from 1.9, just the idea of it. But I have no idea how New Frontier Crafts would work. Because, again, that's kind of a vague concept at the moment. but I do want to be able to change that so that it's not like it's still just 3 stats. I do want to have some sort of a speed as a stat.
All right. Been liking your ideas so far.
Good.
Pretty great.
Yeah. Actually, go ahead. Do you have more questions?
Well, with you being in college and all, and me having less of a schedule, only just entering high school, and right now, being on summer vacation, um, how would that affect the development schedule?
Yeah, that's definitely a tough question. Here's what I legit think of the future right now. I do want to get 1.8.6 out nonetheless. Even though I'm sort of taking note of how big New Frontier Craft's growing and whether I want to continue it or not. Because, I mean, college.
Right.
So, I believe if let's assume that we decide to continue New Frontier Craft, whether we actually hit the goals or not, we're like, actually, it's growing pretty well right now. Let's continue New Frontier Craft. I believe my year of college is going to be lighter than what I had last year. I'm going to be more experienced. I know how to schedule my time better. And even then, last year I was able to dedicate most of my Saturday to just developing New Frontier Craft. But of course, it was just Saturday. Right now, I've got like 4 or 5 days a week that I can work on New Frontier Craft.
Wow.
So I will still be able to develop New Frontier Craft. It might not be too quick, but what's better about this, I think we're still going to get a decent amount of updates per year, like 4 probably 4 on average, even with college, because 1.8.5 took me a whole year from 1.8.4 to 1.8.5, but that's because there's so much testing involved because I was balancing the ore generator. This time we're just going to be adding stuff. We're going to be, for 1.8.6, we'll be adding new graphical things. For 1.8.7, it'll probably be adding farm stuff, some new plants. It's going to be so much easier to develop that stuff as to 1.8.5. So I think we'll still be okay. Probably be able to push out an update over the course of, I don't know, 4 months at college, maybe. So maybe from like the beginning of college to like winter break, I'll have an update complete, and you'll probably have some piece in that too. That's how I foresee it at the moment.
Good.
If I don't continue New Frontier Craft, I've got as of like, if I decide that, you know what, I'll keep this as a hobby, even if it's a hobby, I have no idea if I'll keep going with it in college. So, yeah, that'll be kind of stinky, because, I mean, from what I've seen so far, I think New Frontier Craft still has potential, seeing how much we were able to grow that one time with our post on Reddit, like, taking off. Like, we were able to grow quite a bit that day. I'm going to try doing that again. I'll make a new Reddit post on Feed the Beast, because that just seems to be the place where some people would be looking for this kind of thing.
Okay.
But
That sounds like a good idea, especially it'd be better coming a Reddit post coming from you.
yeah, definitely. So yeah, I actually still think I might continue New Frontier Craft slowly while I'm in college if I decide just to keep it as a hobby. Because, I mean, Minecraft has been my life the past few years as I've been developing New Frontier Craft, so suddenly not doing that would be kind of weird to me. So I think I'll still continue it in college. It's just that it won't be as much of a priority. So it'd be like one update throughout my entire year at college would come out, as to like 2 or 3. So I think that's my current plan. So, yeah,
Okay.
how busy do you think you'll be while you're at school?
Well, it'll be my first year of high school, so
That's true.
I'll be quite busy trying to figure out everything, but I may have more free time than
Yeah, I mean,
what you have.
I guess it depends on like what level of classes you'll be taking. I remember my 9th grade year, at least my first semester, I took some higher end like honors classes in high school, and that definitely took up a decent amount of time. I mean, I mostly had my weekends open if I wasn't doing if I wasn't doing housework, basically.
Uh, well, I'm not really taking any honor classes, but well, yeah, that's about it.
Okay. All right. Well, I think that's been a good talking. We've been talking for like, I don't know, 15 minutes now.
That might be about it. Wait, are you going to give any sort of advantage to the axe as a weapon? Accident.
Oh, actually, that's something I've been thinking about, and I haven't come to a conclusion that axe is a weapon. Um, you know what I could do is I could make the axes kind of uniform, where they all have a sort of a slow swing speed, um, but do quite a bit of damage. They wouldn't be preferable because swords would still do like on average like more damage over time. But an axe, if you had it in your hand and you didn't have a sword, like you definitely use an axe instead. Is maybe what I'll have it as in the
That's
Frontier Craft.
pretty much exactly what modern 1.9 did,
Okay.
and I have to say it's a good idea.
Yeah, I was even considering making like a shield for a little while, but then I just decided that's just not old Minecraft. It's just a sword. So I decided just to make it so that your armor is basically your shield, and your sword and its stats is what you use in battle to your advantage. So that'll kind of be the weapons update. Give it a little bit more variety.
All right. Well, thank you for allowing me to join you today.
Yeah, that was pretty good. I was happy how well this came out. So I'll be seeing you around, I guess.
Yeah.
I hope to see you on that server.